G'day everyone and welcome to Charlie's Auto Museum, which is located just outside Arthur's Seat, about 45 minutes south of Melbourne. Today I'm going to give you a tour inside. There's some really quirky stuff here to see, so let's go take a look. Now if you want Ferraris and Bugattis, then this isn't the car museum for you. This is all about the weird and the quirky. As you can see, we've got here a Reliant Robin, a FSM Nicky and a Dick Johnson show car. Now the reason you'll see some of these show cars around is that this museum is owned by Charlie Furcolt Sr. Charlie Furcolt Jr. runs Team 18, a V8 supercar team. Used to be in partnership with Dick Johnson, now has his own team. So we've got these various promotional cars around, but basically everything in here is super quirky. Let's start with some of the vehicles on the outside. In here we've got this little capsule, kind of is a good example of what makes this place unique. We've got a Nissan BE1, little Japanese sort of quasi-K car, came out of the same factory as the Figaro. We've got a Subaru SVX, very cool machine. Over the back we've got a little Daihatsu coupe hatch. We've got a Domino's smart car delivery van. This is a Sears replica. So this is a Sears that you could buy, I think, out of a catalogue in the US in the very early 1900s. And this is a replica. It's got a little Volkswagen engine in it, this one. So a good example of why this place is so unusual. Happily, we've got little guides to each car to give you an idea of what they're all about. This is a Daihatsu. So in there's a Rover P4 is the other car. This is a Daihatsu Max 360X. Coming through the doors. I'll just give you a walk around tour. But I definitely recommend coming down to have a look. As you can see, it's not just full-size cars. There's thousands of model cars in here. There's a heap of memorabilia. But let's go and have a look at some of the main displays. Again, as I said, this is all about quirky. We've got a Suzuki CV1 community mobility concept. Okay. Look in there. A Honda Insight. There's no rhyme or reason for this. Don't expect there to be any rhyme or reason. Charlie bought all these cars just because he thought they were cool and because he liked them. Or they were different. Smart Roadster. Let's have a look in there. Cool little things. A pair of Toyota Serras with their gull-wing doors. Little diorama here of someone changing the battery and doing some work on it. I'll keep that room till last. Let's have a look at some of the other quirky stuff over here. We've got a Reliant Regal, a DAF. Look at the unusual transmission in this vehicle. Can we see it in there? Can't quite see it. That's okay. Come down, it's open pretty much every day, I think, 10:30 to 4:30. $20 to get in for adults, $10 for children. We've got an MG, Sunbeam Alpine. Here is a Studebaker. So this is where it all started for Charlie. Studebakers. He originally had 4 Studebakers. They were the first cars in here. And he started the Studebaker Car Club of Australia. And of any car in here, there's more Studebakers than anything else. I think he said there's 11 in here. That's a very early one. We've got a Studebaker horse-drawn carriage. That's how far that goes back. What is that, 1911? A Dodge D2. There's everything in here. Everything from sort of modern cars like the Smart and the Honda Insight. Again, Studebakers are his thing. So we've got the beautiful Avanti here. That's a really good looking car. That's a futuristic car. 1964, this coupe, but you wouldn't think that's a 60s car. I would have thought that would be more late 70s. Another one, I'm afraid my Studebaker knowledge is a little bit lacking, so I'm not sure what that is. It'll be written on the side of it, I think. Another Studebaker truck. So a Studebaker Daytona. As you can see, everywhere you look, there is stuff hanging from the walls, stuff hanging from the roof, enormous signs. Another Studebaker Light 6 Tourer. Let's sort of go around in some sort of order. So what do we have here? A Nash Metropolitan, kind of a funky little car. This is a replica, but a very cool one, of a Skoda Estelle 130S. Now these were driven by, John Haugland, I think, who still teaches rally driving today. You can go and learn how to drive on ice and snow from him in the Arctic. He was definitely very much a Skoda stalwart. This car would have, looks like this car went in Targa, but this car would have originally done the Lombard RAC, as you can see on the side there. Very cool thing. We've got a Zeta, little Ford Cortina Deluxe. Again, there's nothing necessarily exotic in here. There's just cool stuff. Neat examples of older cars. So this Avanti was apparently the first Studebaker ever exported out of America, according to Charlie. So this was the first, and the second went to Ian Fleming. Yes, that Ian Fleming, writer of the James Bond books. So he's one behind Charlie. Great car, and it's interesting how the car got updated. The 64 car looks quite a lot more modern than that 63. But it's also interesting how Studebaker just held on to that styling. This is a 1990 Avanti sedan. And they've still got the same sort of styling, but doesn't quite pull it off as successfully, I don't think. Another Studebaker Daytona. V8 engine, 4-speed manual, disc brakes. Bit of Australiana. There's not a lot of Australian cars in here, but there's quite a lot of Australian themed cars in here. Cars that were maybe made in Australia. Just a big statesman. Let's go down the middle now. Messerschmitt, learn how to speak, Scott. Messerschmitt little scooter. We've got a Trojan. This is interesting. It's an Enfield electric, so a little tiny little electric car. There we go, it's better. Tiny little electric car, 40 miles range, 40 miles per hour. So there you go, we've had electric cars for a long time. Little sort of rickshaw kind of thing, another bubble car, BMW Isetta. A random vehicle that a tourist crashed. A Goanna. Again, it's a bit of an Aussie theme. So this is an Aussie-made all-terrain vehicle. And to be honest, it's pretty cool. I'd drive that. Little Daihatsu Trimobile truck over there. I just think half the things are hidden in this place. A Wright-Craft scooter car from 1937, an old tractor. Fiat X19, very cool little thing. A Wartburg, a couple of go-go mobiles. I'll learn how to speak today, sorry. The original Dart, and a sedan. US Mails truck, another Studebaker. I may be incorrect, but I think these are like super, super long serving Studebaker vans that they've just updated, like in the last 18 months or so, with electric versions. This is another really random car. So if you're a Smith and Sniff listener, which you should be because it's a great podcast, you'll have heard them talk about this. These are like, what are they called? They're called Model 70s, I think. So they were designed as mobility for the disabled. You can hop in there, you can put a wheelchair in there, etc. And apparently they were all meant to be bought back by the NHS, I think, and crushed or destroyed. But one of them has escaped, and not only escaped, it's in a car museum in Victoria. So that's actually a really rare car, albeit quite a random one. Vintage Studebaker, Bond Bug. There's another one of those somewhere. Again, these aren't necessarily my sort of thing, but it's just kind of cool to see random cars. That is just a beautiful car, that 64 Avanti. This is a Volkswagen Beetle, well, most of it anyway. One with a body taken off. Makes you realise how simple these things are. Bit of wiring, gearbox, engine, some steering, that's it. Another favourite manufacturer of Charlie's is Tatra. I think there's 3 Tatras in here. If you're not sure about Tatra, they're a Czech company. The cars were used a lot by the bad guys in World War II. Had very early, very aerodynamic cars, usually powered by air-cooled flat 8 engines. This is a Tatra 6032. There's a 2.5 litre engine. But again, rear mounted, air cooled. Yep, V8. This is a bit later from 1963. That's pretty classy in there. In the Sunbee, but now let's go to the other room. And these model ships are incredible, just the size and scale of them. Some pedal cars down there. And again, more model cars. If you like model cars, this is the place to be. We've got NASCARs, we've got muscle cars, we've got Aussie stuff. I mean, there's what is it, a VR executive model car down there. Heaps of Australian stuff. There's a VK Commodore. Just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things. Obviously, that's all the memorabilia. I like this actually. This is cool. So we've got the diner sign, but with the actual lights that light up. Even more miniatures. We'll get to one of those in a minute. The Bricklin. Car badges. It's the perfect spot for an automotive tragic, I think. All right, let's go through. We've got a C1 Corvette, presumably a mock-up on the wall. Yes, it is a mock-up. Some bikes, don't know anything about bikes, sorry. All cool stuff, a little Jeep. A Cord 810 Beverly from the 30s. Handsome thing. A couple of taxis. New York taxi. Yep. A Chrysler LeBaron. Very Miami. A Sinclair C5 electric scooter. Total flop, but I remember Evo magazine once lap timed one around Bedford. We have matching Jag XJS coupe and convertible. Are they the 12? They are. So these are the 5.3 litre V12. With the Leaper above them. Again, more massive signs. Another matching massive Holden sign. Hudson Hornet. So Hudson Hornet was Charlie's first love. He fell in love with the Hudson initially and then eventually went to Studebaker's, Mercury Montego over there. That matching Brooklyn's. So the Brooklyn was a Canadian sports car. I think it's made out of fiberglass, had a V8 engine. This one has a 351 Windsor V8. This one has an AMC Rambler engine, 360 V8. But they weren't exactly a roaring success, I don't think. They've got the most 70s interior of all time. All brown and carpeted. It's kind of cool. You don't often see matching Brooklyns. This is the doors, another Bond Bug. This is probably the flashiest thing in here, a Rolls-Royce Silver Spur. It's actually a ZB Commodore show car, and that's still got the 3.6 litre. It's a VXR. So that, I mean, a ZB Commodore VXR is almost worthy of putting in a museum these days for a strange period in Holden's history. Another Mercury, another Tatra. That one's a 3.5 litre air-cooled V8. Another Studebaker, and then we'll wrap it off with a bit of Aussie muscle car royalty, Tirana A9X. So this has obviously been a very quick walk around of Charlie's Auto Museum, very low key, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what's here and maybe will tempt you to come down and have a look, because it's been a lifelong passion for Charlie, and yeah, it's well worth checking out if you want to see some cool automotive oddities as well as a heap of memorabilia. So see you next time. Thanks for watching.